Well, this one is just spontaneous. These ideas came to me while I was trying to cobble together some breakfast. And believe it or not, it was just past 7 when I got out of bed. I just dragged myself out of bed because it was so blissful in bed, but then there's work to do. And this incessant tonking at number 16 gets to me, it just gets to be too much. And then you just can't sleep anymore without getting bad dreams. And I was starting to get all those bad dreams, so I said over and out. Imagine it took till 10 o'clock for me to organize coffee and have a cup of coffee. That's the speed at which my thoughts are racing right now. And when thoughts race like this, sometimes you just have to hold them back and say, easy, 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 stop. Okay, now stop. And what thoughts have come to me? There's a comment on my post, yesterday's post, asking for feedback, asking people what they'd like me to talk about. So, someone wants me to share stories from my life. And I'm not going to tell you any grandmother stories about my heritage because there are so many of those. I need a dedicated channel for that. And we are going to start a Project Hearthfire channel just for that. But here there are some very contemporary stories from my life and what's been going on, what I've been observing, especially over the past 2 years, has taught me a lot of things about toxicity, about what toxicity is, what it is to be toxic. Are people toxic? Are situations toxic? Are interactions toxic? Just where do these toxins come from? And the thing I keep hearing most often is social media is toxic. Social media is toxic. So it keeps taking me back to something I learned in college. In college, I was doing my master's in maths, and I have a funny feeling I was getting bored with what I was doing. Then along came a special paper called Information Theory and Cybernetics. And I swooped down on that. It just called to me. And there I came across this catchphrase, the medium is the message. So years later, I'm starting to think the message is also the medium. You keep saying toxic things on Facebook. Suddenly, one fine day, someone declares Facebook to be toxic. Not really. It is very challenging to be on this very I hope Facebook is not going to ban me for this, but it's clumsy, ineptly designed, and there's nothing right about it. Yet it has become so addictive. People have, maybe it's because it's a monopoly, nothing else works as well as it does. Or does it work well at all? Half the time it doesn't work. But for some strange reason, everybody flocks to this platform. And once everybody has flocked to a platform, everybody else says, well, there is no other platform. What choice do I have? So everybody piles on. Then everybody finds everybody else toxic. And then they say, this damn toxic platform, it's so, social media is so toxic, I'm out of here. Then they deactivate, they vanish, they do all kinds of things. Then they come right back one fine day to see what's going on. Now, I've never been on this roller coaster. I've been on one particular work account, which was the Chakra Incognita account that was stolen from me by some nasty person who sent me messages that I didn't respond to. So they reported me as a fake account. There's nothing fake about pseudonyms. This is something I've got to get very clear with people. I mean, Twitter gives you handles, Instagram gives you handles. You name your company or your band something. Does that mean that it's something fake? So I name myself something because that name speaks to me and that becomes a brand. And these people suddenly come down on my head and ask for my papers. Well, I had no choice. I had this whole history over there. So I sent them papers and back I go to my birth name, which is what many, many, many of you know me by. But anyway, I'm digressing because, that's the way I am. I keep spiraling here, there, and everywhere. And in the end, I'm right back home where I belong. So, as part of this rowing about, well, I've been rowing about and I'm back here to the toxicity. And what I'm really coming to is the workshop, which is also available as a one-on-one session, personal session addressing your personal issues. And it is called Porous Borders and Elastic Boundaries. And I think this is what we need to make social media work for us. I've never got off social media. I've never once deactivated my account. I've always been there and I've always worked very carefully with my settings. And thanks to my settings, thanks to what I let in, thanks to the pest repellents I use, and sometimes occasionally pests get in. But I think there's a way of being out there in the public, and there is no need really to engage with thousands of people to get your message across. I think what really helps is when you engage with the right people and they engage with the right people, and you form a network of people who can really come together in a meaningful way. And this has happened to me. My best friends in real life over the past 15 years have come to me through internet, not through any face-to-face meeting. There's maybe a handful of people that I talk to on social media who are people I met in 3D in the first place and then continued to interact with on social media. But the best thing here is I've managed to reconnect with old friends. I've made new friends, and these new friends have actually held me up through the kind of crises which I don't even want to talk about here. That's the way it's been. So, mm, the story of my life is really the first story I'm telling you is the story of my recent past. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this video, you have probably connected with me on social media. And that's the way you reached me. And I mean, what is YouTube is, I mean, considering the way you can interact on YouTube, that's also a kind of social media. I mean, everything is social, right? Just as I say everything is spiritual because we are spiritual in our, in just spirit in bodies, in these bodies will go, but the spirit remains in some way, maybe through someone's memories, maybe through the legacy we leave behind, or maybe through some otherworldly thing which is not the topic today, but we'll come to that topic also another day. So I think uh, I've blathered on enough. This was absolutely spontaneous. I have some porridge cooking on the stove, and I don't intend eating any burnt offerings today. So I'll take leave for now. And this is today's video because most likely, while the pit gig is going on, I'm not going to be in a mood to make any videos. I'll just be sitting here and trying to connect through the ether to the gig and what's going on over there. So here you go, friends. Give this some thought. Change the way you relate to social media. You'll find the toxicity going. The medium is the message is also the medium. Remember that. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.